So this is another attempt at my video for Heroes in Castle Age. I had a really long video and it had some issues. Sound is still not very good, but I'm trying to split this out into two different videos. So you can get generals from a variety of methods. When you start out, you can buy them in town, and you have to pay for them, and they have some upkeep that you have to have a high enough income to pay. I'm not actually sure what happens if you don't, because I never ran into that problem. These are generally not very strong generals, no pun intended. Usually what you'll do is you'll look for stronger generals, which you can get from the chest. For instance, Nightfall, you have epic generals, rare, common, uncommon, and all other stuff in the chest, but this is all random. You never know what you're going to get. You can just hope for the best. And there are many chests that you could choose from. For instance, the Wrath chest. And the odds here of getting these are not what you might expect. For instance, I have Esmeralda, and I'll show you later that I have many copies of her. And I have no copies of Tyrant Jali or Kothis. I'm not sure the pronunciation to these. And here I have 4 different rares that I could have gotten, but I only got 2. And 4 or 5 of the uncommons and all these common ones. So it's, if you're hoping to get a particular general from a chest, just be prepared to spend a considerable amount of favor points and possibly money. Certain chests are actually better than others for this. I mean, if you just want heroes, you're not concerned about which ones you have. Nightfall was good. I think Onslaught was pretty good. Oblivion was actually a pretty good chest, if I remember correctly. If you go into the Wikipedia for Castle Age, they do give you the odds of getting a general for each chest. The other more likely way you can get them is by going to the Oracle and checking out the favor generals. And here you have all the generals that you were able to purchase since they were added, except a few that just were removed because they didn't really plan on having them more than once, maybe. But now you can buy these generals. For the most part, I only have 1 copy. I made an exception for Daphne, and there's a limit. It shows you down here how many copies you have out of the limit, so I have 33 out of a max of 12. And the way I got 33 is by buying some copies of Daphne through a special offer, and also make note that I do have her equipment. Normally you would not buy that at all. It adds like really small, meaningless bonuses normally. Daphne is a special case because I have her so high. And then you also go to the Mystic Emporium, and you should always have 2 generals you can buy here. These are generals you can get from the Oracle, so there's nothing special here. The only thing is that you can only have the 12 copies from the Oracle, which will let you promote your general to 5 stars. If you buy them from here, you can get them to 8 stars. And the special offer does not change your upper limit from the Oracle. So if you started out with a special offer and got like 8, then you go to the Oracle, you can get 4 more. Then you'd have to wait for the special to come back around to buy more copies, or go here and do it. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to rush and get this general up, the best option is to go and get your 12 copies from the Oracle and hope for the special offer, or just keep an eye on the Mystic Emporium as these 2 generals change. and all 6 of these actually change every day. And then you can also get generals through events, and there's like some alchemies that you can do from fighting monsters or doing quests. Another a good general you can get is from the Colosseum. When it's active when the world monster is not. They alternate at this time. If you get enough points from participating, for instance, I have almost 82,000, and you can buy the Timekeeper, who is a strong general, for defensive purposes, and actually very good starting stats. 20,000, so I could buy 4 copies. I don't know the actual limit here, if you can go to 8 stars or 5 stars. With the chess, it used to be you could only get 1 copy of a general, so if you got the same roll, it would give you a free roll, or that would automatically roll. I think depending on what time you were talking about. Now you just get more copies. And I don't know what happens if you get to 8 copies or 8 stars and you get more of that general. Do just like accumulate them, and the off chance they add, hey, you get 9, 10, 12 stars. That is something that people who spend more than I do could perhaps tell you. So in your generals, you have sort options. The default is your strongest attack down to the lowest. And you can filter. You have aggressive, balanced, and defensive generals, and you can tell that from the icons in the corners here, and also the color of the icon. Green, defensive; blue, balanced; red, aggressive. So for certain campaigns, you have like this one where I had to use defensive hero potions and had to use balanced hero potions. Then I could just go and filter and find all the defensive ones. I have a fair number. There aren't really that many defensive generals in the game. Some of them are quite useful, like Daphne. I like Misha. I used to like Azerin quite a lot. Used him every time I leveled up. But this filter, I mean, basically is just for setting up alliances or using your potions. And this also sorting, I rarely use this. I use it to sort by level so I can find which level generals are at the bottom, and then work on the campaign task to level up my generals. So to level up generals, the base maximum is level 4. As you can see, I have Daphne with a maximum of 64. And currently she is 59. There's a maximum of 80 levels in the game. And to increase their levels, you go and hit max level. And then you check what you have for resources and compare to what you need. So I have enough of everything to actually push Daphne up to 65. I'm not currently going to do that. You also have, this is your rune essence. At one point the essence was required. It no longer is. And these crystal requirements, you have hero crystals, blue, green, red evolution crystals for balanced, defensive, aggressive generals, and the amount you'll need depends on the type of general you have. Defensive will be primarily defensive. Apparently it's also aggressive too. Aggressive generals are aggressive evolution crystals, and maybe they need defensive ones. Let me look quickly. so I don't really pay attention to these things. So for instance, if I wanted to push Grok up, not a good example. These crystal requirements really just apply every multiple of 5. Once you hit level 20, you need one of the correct type, and then it's just increasingly more. So we're at level 65, you had to have 100 of one and 84 of another. And the defense or aggressive ones will be kind of the same. Defensive ones will be more even between these three. So these crystals that you get, you can buy them in the Mystic Emporium. Like today, I have the option of using favor points for three red evolution crystals. You may be able to get them from for gold coins some days, which would be much preferable. I don't really recommend using favor points unless you really have to for anything. Maybe I'm cheap. You can look at your bonuses for the day, and you can get this from your home link, daily bonuses. So certain days you can get different crystals. Sunday, Monday are red evolution crystals. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are blue. These are for attacking or using defensive actions in the land of Earth, but only on these particular days, and you have to be in a battle which has to be started by an officer, or defending in a battle that some other guild started against your particular guild. Then Friday, Saturday, you go to the green crystals. And also, if you do the excavation quests on Friday, Saturday, when you collect on those days, you have a small chance of getting a crystal. So on those excavation quests, you can do like just one level of influence and then try collecting. I've heard there's a chance that it fails. I've never actually seen that happen. You also have you have to get the hero crystals regardless of the type of general. You can get them in the Emporium if you've been working on your conquest paths. So for instance, I have the Conqueror path. Scroll down, get a lot of stuff that you can get here. So hero crystals, 1, 2, 2, 4, and also hero potions. The crystals, I believe, are the same for all 4 paths. The potions vary from one path to another. One reason to go for these, I personally do not recommend this row because you have to spend a considerable amount of guild coins. You can also get them from events. Treasure Island is a good one for that. You get potions from events too to level up your heroes when you do your daily spin, which would be in here above your news. Resets every day, you can do that and you have a chance for potions. I don't remember if you get crystals that road or not. And every day you should pray. Your chance of getting crystal depends on your guild level and the number of Lands of Mist you have, I believe. But even if you have no Land of Mist, you have a chance of getting a crystal, so you should always pray every day. And on Friday, Saturday, you have a very large bonus for every guild. Even if you don't have a Land of Mist, you'll have a large bonus. I believe it starts at 75% for Friday, Saturday. So level up. Like I say, at some point I'm going to want to level up a hero. So I started by level and I just go down to the bottom and find someone that's going to level up fast. I don't particularly care for any of these. Is there someone who may have of value to me in the future at some point. So I had Chase, I leveled up to, or increased the max level to 8. I did not actually level them up. If you go into the Wikipedia, you can see what the level bonuses are as they go up in level. Not all of generals have an increasing bonus to their attributes. What the heck? I'll show Karn. I don't think I'll ever actually have a great need for him, but level 4 max, I just go max level. Check the requirements, 1 hero crystal, and I have almost 500. You can see this is what he currently has. If it goes up a level, it's the same thing. His ability does not actually go up in levels. The max attack and defense will show up. There was something about an alliance messing this up. You'd have to remove the alliance for the stats to show up correctly. I have not actually seen that happen. So if you're happy with increasing the level, you just hit confirm. And then you get, hey, your power up was successful. And now Karn's max level is 5 instead of 4. And it'll take 4,000 experience to put him up a level. And you get experience from doing things. Do quests, you attack in PvP, hit monsters. Those are the main ways. Certain quests will increase your experience faster. I believe the main quest and the excavation quests are better for experience than doing the sub quests. They do have to be the primary general in an alliance to gain that experience to go up in levels. So for instance, let's look at like Masilda, like Karn, the max level goes up, her ability stays the same. In this case, her level is based on the number of stars she has, which I'll show in a little bit. But someone like Carvinthius, so he does go up, but it's at a slower rate, if I'm not mistaken. Not the best example. Luno, he will go up. Maybe even show it. So here you can see at level 14 he had a plus 42 bonus to mana shield and 18 to max energy. And if I did get him to level 22, that bonus would go up to 50 to mana shield and 22 to max energy. I will not say these are great things to have. So even though it goes up, it may provide a bonus that's fairly meaningless. So you may want to pick and choose which generals you really want to focus on to level up, because it can be difficult to acquire these evolution crystals. And once you get past level 50, 55, like you saw with Daphne, you need 100 of these defensive evolution crystals to get her up to 65. And that's, almost a quarter of what I have. But as you see, this ability does go up, and of course attack and defense go up. And at every 5th level, in addition to costing more of all these things, you'll get like a larger increase to your stat bonus on those 5 levels. By that I'm referring to attack and defense, and not to the ability bonus, which may or may not go up, and the rate it goes up is not the same for every general. For instance, the Rothbirds who have self-heal all advance at different levels, or I should say at different rates, and it's quite significant. But it may not be that bad. Like Daphne and Tora have the same ability, they go up at the same rate. Really the difference is that they started with different amounts. Tora is better, but As a rare chest general, it's much more difficult to get her promoted. Daphne is just you have to spend the favor points when the opportunity comes up. Daphne or Tori just gotta like spend, 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 spend. And then all these stars, which you see, Tora 7, Flamines, whatever, has 3, Grok 2, Vasilda 2, Luno 3. These are from having multiple copies of that one general. And they start out with, just 1 star. So I can show you Esmeralda, she'll show up. You filter for promotable generals, and this is to increase the number of stars. So right now Esmeralda has 2 stars, and you can see here that there's a 2 with this upward arrow, which shows how many copies of her you currently have. The arrow shows that you can promote her. The 2 shows how many copies you have. Like with Grok, I have 1 copy, but I can't actually promote him. And promoting is very easy, just use the promote button. And it tells you this is how many stars you have, this is what it'll go to, how many you need, how many you have. If you have a promotion orb, you can use that instead of a copy of the general. So I have Esmeralda, like I was discussing from the Wrath chest, as an epic general. There's 4 of them. In theory, you have equal chance for each. In practice, I had 1 copy, 1 star, 2 copies was promoted to 2 stars. Now I have 2 more copies, I can promote her to 3 stars. So I have gotten 4 copies of the same epic general from that one chest. When really I may have wanted a rare ability or some other epic general. So the chest rolls are really quite bad sometimes. And there was someone who once rolled 3 of the same common in one chest, and then the 3 rolls for 80 favor points, and then she did another 3 rolls and another 3 rolls, and all of those 3 rolls she ended up with 9 I forget what they were, amulets of fear or some such. So the chests are really, really bad if you want to get a particular item. In the long run, you should be able to get what you're looking for. It's just a question of how much you want to put into it. So as I was going to show, from 2 stars to 3 stars, I have the copies of the heroes that are required to. So I just hit confirm, and lo and behold, she's got 3 stars, which you can't actually see when you look at it from here, but when you scroll up you can see 3 stars here, or scroll down. Now she has 3 stars. And you notice she was down here after Luno, now she is up higher. Because when she went up in stars, she also effectively went up in levels. And by going up in levels, her ability went up. I don't remember exactly what it was before. I believe it was like 80 something. If you, go backwards in the video, you can find out and tell me what it was. So effectively, attack goes up, defense goes up, and the ability that she has herself will go up. So potions, they give your hero 85,000 experience every time you use it, so you can see how far it will push her. In this case, it puts her over to the next level. I don't know if that experience really gets saved, so I don't recommend doing it. But if I had like Tora, 317,000 experience to go up to level 49. 85,000 per potion. That's going to take several potions to put her up a level. So one more way you can get potions. If you hit monsters, they can drop orcs in the Land of Mist. Are a very good option for that. Otherwise, you can get powders. And if you look at the, not the recruit, but the daily bonus, you get the potion, or sorry, the powders when you're fighting monsters on these days. Red for aggression on Tuesday, defensive on Wednesday, and balanced on Thursday. And then you just have to go into alchemy and put these things together. So I recommend going to filtered for hero potions, and you can see hero dust also, all of the dust for potions, and you just hit create and you can make it. And I should mention quickly, you can get the hero dust from the 10 versus 10 battles, and this is obviously going to be useful when you want to level up your heroes. And you also get the guild coins, and you can use abilities for whatever purpose in those 10 versus 10 battles. You can also do these, quote, limited time, unquote, alchemies. I don't recommend it. So as you can see, you need to use up your evolution crystals, which you need to advance your heroes, plus your energy and some iron and wood. And that will give you hero crystals and some experience. The evolution crystals are harder to get, for the most part, than the hero crystals, and you need far more of them at the upper levels. So doing these alchemies is a really bad idea. Unfortunately, they're always here at the top. You can't get rid of them. So one last thing to note, the hero items. So with Tora, she's a chat general, and I've gotten 2 of 3 items for her. You'll notice when you do the mouse over that if you get 3 unique gear, then the general will get a bonus. It doesn't say, but it's a 10% bonus. You can see that with Daphne. So the Oracle Generals basically always have 3 items with them, so you can buy them. 10% to your attack and defense from these items, in addition to the bonus that they give. So +1 attack, +1 defense, +5 to energy. Energy does not get that bonus because you're going to the heroes' attack and defense. Like, I want to say there was something about maybe these increase some other stats. I know they have energy, health, stamina, crit chance, but mostly they're attacking or changing attack and defense of the general. And when you do the mouse over of the general stats, you can see in this case Daphne has 1280 defense. 1031 of that is because of her level. She is in alliance with Tora and the Timekeeper, and from that she gets 145 defense. The 10% bonus is coming from I want to say just the level bonus essentially, and then you can see the bonus to from the innocence. I'm just kind of wondering, I'm seeing the 249 next to the defense. I'm trying to remember where that actually comes from. You can have certain items that may actually be doing that. I have to go looking in my in the forge. gonna try and figure out. Okay, screw it. There are chaos gems that will increase the general's strength, and I've never really pinned down where that shows up. Also in your stats, if you have a general that increases them, it will show up in your mouse overs. So here you see my defense bonus, 71 from equipped general, and health 71 from equipped general. That's the timekeeper being added in at the end of the alliance with Daphne and Tora. And if you have like bonuses to your physical and elemental attacks, they'll show up on the right here. If you are setting up your general correctly, it will show up here. If you do not set it up correctly, then it will not show here. But for the generals, it should show up once you select it. Really, these bonuses, you need to worry a lot with your equipment to make sure you have those set. And you would do that using loadouts. And I probably went way too long on this video yet again, meandering over different topics. So really what you want to do is you find generals that are going to be useful to you, and you focus on those particular generals and you level them up as much as you can afford to do. The max is level 80, and as you can see, I have Daphne is still 59, and she is slowly going up because I'll hit the world monster with her, just use a few stamina. Each day I'm not particularly trying to push her up. At level 60 she'll get a large bonus to attack and defense though. Geez, let me think what else I want to do. Certain generals get like a large bump at some levels. I should have mentioned like the cleric generals. You have Don, Aki, and Sana. They get a bonus to heal from level 1 to 4, and then once you get to level 5 you get a large bonus to it, and then it goes up much more slowly after that. So you should really look in the wiki and see if there's some weird things such as that, where your general gets an unusually large adjustment to a particular stat, and try to hit those values. You can try to hit like once you hit a certain bonus you want to stop because it'll take a while before you get increased to it, or multiples of 5 because you get bonuses to your attack and defense that are larger at those particular levels, or some combination of these things. You'll see I have like Matilda goes to level 8 for her cap. What this is from is she was level 1 and I needed to level up a general, and from level 1 to level 7 the experience levels or requirements are not that steep. So they level up quite fastly up until 7, then you have like this big jump in experience, and then it kind of eases up a bit. And also if you have a generalist level 1 and you increase your max level to level 8, you should almost always be able to push them up to level 7 with just one potion. There may be some epic generals this will not work for, or other special cases. I don't know, I haven't really studied this per se, remember off the top of my head, but I believe that in most cases it will. Just another mention of a couple of heroes that you can get. If you go to the Emporium in town and you look at the Conquest Warpath and scroll all the way down here, you can find Excelsior, 7,500 guild coins. You get a general will increase your health max health, which is useful for guild battles. With a health rune, it's not as important. If you just want more generals, that's an option. If you go to the guild shop, you have all the guild abilities here, separated by class. If you scroll down to the bottom, you have the universal abilities. So you can see here the General Dionera increases the damage that you do in a battle. This is actually a very important ability. There are several generals that can do this, and you may want to try to get more than one of them. But if you are having trouble, this is a very good option to pick, because others are generally from chests or events and much more difficult to obtain. And if you did get more than one of these damage generals, then you can put them together into alliance. And that is a lot of what I want to talk about, and I'm sure there are things I'm forgetting. For instance, you can go into your item archives and here you have different sets of items that you can try to collect and receive a bonus from it. So in the alpha chest, if you had gotten all these items, you get bonuses to attack from it. In some cases, these will be generals. For this particular archive, you have to look at the view item sets. And here you can see you have the Stone Guardian, the Orc King. If you have both of these, plus you have all this other stuff, then you get a bonus to attack as a set bonus. Likewise, Sylvana and Mephistopheles get another set bonus. I believe Oblivion is a much better choice. Because if you spend enough, you can get, like one of each of these generals, and then you get a set bonus from it, which is quite nice. From the Nightfall chest, you have, I believe, much more. As you can see, Alistair, Luno, and Myriad Jade, I believe most of these generals are actually in the item archives. So you're getting bonuses to attack and defense from these generals just by having them. Even if you never use them, they're handy to have. And you can see I have a couple of sets completed for extra attack. And there may be some other sets I've completed as well, but this is just an example. Just from having the generals, if you are like, oh, these are crap generals to start with, and you had spent on them, and now you're like, oh, I regret spending all those favor points, then maybe you get a little bit from having acquired those generals. And in some cases, they're items. Though in general, I don't recommend that, as I said before. Yeah, so again, really pick some generals that you find are very useful, that you use a lot, and try to get them leveled up. As far as the alliances, which I'll go over later, you may try to have like 3 aggressive generals of level 20, 20, 20, and then you have alliance of 60. So you want like 3 generals that work together in a good alliance. That's in the other video. I don't think I really talked about that too much. As far as the strategy for alliances, should you like have one general that's level 60 or 140, 120, or 3 of them at 20, as long as your total adds up to 60, that's really the goal. And it's easier to do that if you focus on more than one general. And there are guides. You can look for which generals are useful, should you level them up, should you not level them up. And you can see from mine, I have many generals that are for guild battles, essentially, or PvP, because these are things I was focused on. Other players may want to spend more on monster hunting, good Sahar or Sorkin and Dalimer and Barbarous, for instance, and find some combination of them to put into alliance, as those 3 or 4 work well together depending on how you go about it. And those are all of those 4 are from the Oracle in the favor general section. Though there are level requirements for these generals, which I tend to forget. When I was at lower level, I might have run into them a few times, but basically I was moving up too fast to worry about these. But for new players, it's more of an issue. And in fact, could be quite serious. But if you're going for monster hunting and you don't have a lot of attack stamina, Sahar here, or Sorkin down here, and then Barbarous and Dalimer, which you can find quite easily. If you're going to be a cleric, then Don is a very good option. Increased amount of healing you do on a win. If you're a mage, then you would want Muse. If I can find her. Went way past. Right next to Don, didn't have to move at all. Or a rogue, there's a general for rogues, there's a general for warriors. You get Siren for asshole, and he's confused a lot. Shivak, if you don't care about being useless and having fortitude. It's a lot of options you can pick from. So it's a good idea to spend some time looking into what their powers are. Does it go up? Later on, you need to have them first in an alliance. Will they be compatible? Because you have generals that have like physical resistance or piercing and elemental to go with it. And then how do you put them all together and do they all work? For instance, with Guinevere, grants physical pierce ability, and then you have Remiel, convert divine power to physical pierce. That's something I should mention. As long as you have the same ability, I should mention this in the alliance video, but if it's the same ability, same name, then those will stack together in an alliance as long as you match the master's ability. But if it's different and you have bonuses to attack and they're coming from different sources or they're different abilities, so like in this case, Guinevere and Remiel have the same increased to physical pierce, but because one is just straight to physical pierce, the other converts divine power to physical pierce, you can combine these two in an alliance and get the full bonus from each of them. And then you could also put them with, for instance, Bogo and get water pierce too, to have much more bonus to attack from your generals. And that's more than I really want to say in this portion of the video. Remember things that I just had in the second portion, which I already recorded. So yeah, as soon as you select your general, you should get these bonuses, but really what you'll end up looking at down the line is putting them into your loadouts so you can quickly switch between them. So I have, like, if you see here, I have Daphne up. I click the next loadout, and now I have Gabriel up to attack. When I'm done, I just click back and I do Daphne. And that's from these loadouts where I have different abilities, I can have different class, I have different equipment. So I have Gabriel here to do damage, and I have these items are Warbringers. They increase physical piercing. In my defensive loadout, I have Daphne, and then I have some of the same equipment because it has my runes on them. and then physical resistance from the retribution gear. That's all for another area, but I'm just going to show that you can, change your loadouts and quickly change between generals. So you will end up using the same general more than once in your alliances, and different loadouts will have the same general more than, one time. So like the attack General Gabriel I use, and then also in my warrior attack I have Gabriel. I just basically have this loadout where I'm using her each time, once as a cleric, once as a warrior, and I'm changing the guild class and the powers by using these loadouts. Another thing to know is the quick select. These blue dots show that I've added them, pinned them to the top of this list. Otherwise you can scroll down and find them. Click on the space here to pin it, and then it will move them to the top. So for instance, Mercedes, a bonus to gold. Now she's up here pinned to the top. I don't really use her, so away she goes. But if I need to change to a different general, I want to put 0 up, keep this loadout. Now I have 0 active. But more likely that if I lost while I was attacking someone, and I want to say, hey, I'll just try to increase my attack, so my damage, I'll go with 0. And hopefully I would win. Just a quick way to change. I don't really use that very often, but it does exist. So I was going to stop, now I going to the Minnesota line, goodbye. And again, just don't leave your generals at level 4. Try to find good ones. If you can't get better generals, maybe pick the best one. Level them up a little bit. Don't get carried away, because you could have, used those gems and a general later on that was better, and you would use more. Okay, so I believe that is all that I'm going to discuss at this time. Thanks.